Number 1. Just think positive. You're spiraling. Your inbox has more red flags than a political revolution. Your relationships feel like a game of emotional minesweeper, and someone's grand solution, just think positive. This is the psychological equivalent of slapping a smiley face sticker on the dumpster fire. Sure, it's optimistic, but the fire's still happening. Telling yourself everything is fine when it objectively isn't can lead to something called toxic positivity, the idea that if you're not constantly upbeat, you're doing something wrong. Your brain, though, is not a fan of being gaslit. When you suppress negative feelings instead of working through them, your limbic system, aka your emotional smoke alarm, keeps buzzing. The stress doesn't vanish, it simmers under the surface like emotional mold. Over time, you start feeling worse because you're trying so hard to feel better. Ironically, studies show that allowing yourself to feel bad without judgment, like, wow, I am a steaming pile of gloom today, and that's valid, can actually help you bounce back faster. Acceptance reduces the inner war zone, so no, thinking positive isn't bad, but thinking positive at the expense of honesty is like painting over cracks in a dam. Number 2. Fake it till you make it. Here's the deal. Confidence is great. Faking confidence until you grow into it, also fine, in small, non-delusional doses. But when faking it becomes your full-time personality, you're not growing, you're dissociating. This advice teaches you to ignore your inner reality. Nervous at work, smile harder. Sad at a party, laugh louder. Anxious on a date, act cool until you forget you have feelings. The problem, your nervous system notices. You can't trick your body out of panic mode just by crossing your arms like a power pose robot. Instead, this forces your brain into emotional dissonance. Your outsides and insides are playing to different radio stations, and you're the static in the middle. Worse, you might make it into a life that doesn't even match you. You faked it so long, you're now stuck in relationships, jobs, and routines built around someone you pretended to be. Congrats! You're now starring in a sitcom called Emotionally Misaligned. Real growth, it comes from feeling awkward, insecure, and imperfect, and doing it anyway. That's not faking, that's being brave while sweaty.
Number 3. Cut out toxic people. This advice feels spicy, empowering, clean, like taking a dramatic scissors to your contact list and walking into the sunset with better boundaries and glowing skin. And yes, if someone is constantly cruel, manipulative, or makes you feel like a backup character in your own life, bye. But here's the twist, not everyone you find difficult is toxic. Sometimes, they're just annoying, or stressed, or they accidentally said something dumb and now you're sending them into exile. In the age of self-care as identity, cutting people off has become the new deal with it. We've turned boundaries into breakups, but emotional maturity often means having hard conversations, not just disappearing like a passive-aggressive ghost. Also, you are someone's toxic person. Sorry. At some point, you messed up, snapped at a friend, or went full drama gremlin. Should you be cut out of their life forever? Growth involves discomfort, not just distance. If you cut everyone, whoever hurt or disagreed with you, congratulations, you're alone now, but at least you're the healthiest one at brunch with yourself. Number 4. Don't worry about what people think. This advice is like giving a goldfish a parachute, well-intentioned but wildly irrelevant to the actual situation. Because guess what? Your brain is wired to care what people think. That's how you survived as a child, by reading facial expressions and avoiding the wrath of your 5th grade teacher, who smelled like chalk and disappointment. Social feedback is part of our survival wiring, so telling yourself not to care is like telling your immune system to stop overreacting to pollen. You can try, but your sneezes don't listen. Same goes for your self-worth. The real issue is not caring what people think, it's believing everyone's opinion is the truth. The trick isn't to stop caring, it's to filter, to decide whose thoughts get VIP access to your mental guest list. Spoiler, it's not your uncle with conspiracy theories and zero emotional intelligence. When you learn to care selectively, you don't have to numb out. You get to feel connection and stay grounded. That's not rebellion, that's emotional Wi-Fi with a good firewall.
Number 5. You just need more discipline. Oh yes, the go-to advice when you're burnt out, overwhelmed, and already running on vibes and caffeine. You're not tired, you're just lazy. Apparently, just be more disciplined, like some kind of productivity monk who never touches carbs or TikTok. This advice confuses self-abuse with self-improvement. Discipline isn't about punishing yourself into success. It's about structure that works with your brain, not against it. But a lot of people take this advice and turn their lives into militarized boot camps. Can't focus? Block all distractions and sit in shame until your to-do list cries mercy. Can't wake up at 5 a.m.? Set 5 alarms and guilt trip yourself. into consciousness. The result, rebellion fatigue. Your brain taps out, your motivation evaporates, and suddenly you hate watching videos on how to be that girl while eating cold pizza in bed. Here's the kicker, the people who seem super disciplined usually just built routines that fit their actual energy patterns. They don't force themselves into systems that were made for robots or retired Navy SEALs. Real discipline doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like clarity. You're not pushing yourself into misery. You're creating a lane that helps you move. And guess what? That lane includes rest.
Number 6. Don't take it personally. Okay, sure. Let me just detach all meaning from human interaction, like a Zen monk with emotional Bluetooth. This advice can be wise. Not everything people say or do is about you. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe their dog stepped on a Lego. That's fair. But the problem is when this advice becomes a spiritual bypass for ignoring how something actually made you feel. If someone says something cruel or dismissive, and your brain goes, oh, that's not weakness, that's awareness. The don't take it personally mindset can trick you into invalidating your own feelings in the name of being unbothered. Let's be real. Most of us are not emotional airbags that can absorb everything with serenity and zero bruising. And we shouldn't have to be. Taking things personally doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're present. It means your boundaries notice something. Yes, you can understand someone's behavior without excusing it. And you can acknowledge your reaction without turning it into a drama trilogy. But pretending you're immune to all emotional damage. That's not strength. That's repression with a smiley face.
Number 7. Forgive and forget. This one sounds wholesome, like something crocheted on a grandma's pillow. But if you've ever had your trust broken, your heart smashed, or your dignity stepped on by someone in tap shoes, you know, forgive and forget feels less like healing and more like a Misha cosplay. Here's the truth, forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. You're allowed to let go of anger without erasing your memory like you're in a budget sci-fi reboot. Forcing forgiveness too early can be straight up dangerous. It tells victims to suppress pain, rush recovery, and pretend their boundaries were never violated. And if you're not ready to forgive, suddenly you're the villain in your own healing. The science backs this up. Real forgiveness takes time, safety, and often restitution. It's not just a nice thing to do. It's a deep neurological process. You don't owe anyone a quick pardon so they can feel better. And forgetting, that's not noble. That's setting yourself up for the sequel. Forgiveness can be powerful, sure, but forgetting is optional. Protecting your peace doesn't mean deleting your memory card. It means you remember and heal, so you don't have. Number 8. Sleep on it. You're spiraling. Your brain is a beehive. Your emotions are throwing a rave in your prefrontal cortex. And someone says, just sleep on it, which sounds helpful, like your pillow has a PhD in emotional processing. And yes, sleep is magical. Your brain literally scrubs itself like a janitor with a mop during REM cycles. But here's the problem. This advice is too often used to avoid dealing with things when they matter most. Delaying decisions can make sense if it leads to clarity, but if sleep on it becomes ignore it until it becomes a problem again, now we've entered the realm of passive anxiety marination. Meanwhile, your subconscious isn't taking a break. It's just chewing on the stress in the background like emotional cud. You wake up not refreshed, but with the same confusion, now wearing pajamas. Sometimes, the thing you need isn't sleep, it's a deep breath. Number 9. Good vibes only. Nothing says emotional repression quite like a throw pillow demanding good vibes only. At first glance, it sounds lovely, a space of peace, love, and people who all smell like essential oils. But lurking beneath this pastel-colored slogan is one of the most gaslighty messages your brain can internalize. Here's what good vibes only really tells people: if your emotions aren't sparkly and fun, keep them to yourself. You feeling anxious? Take that energy outside. Are you grieving, depressed, or just mildly annoyed by Chad's guitar playing at 2 a.m.? Sorry? That's a vibe violation. This isn't positivity, it's emotional censorship, and it's one of the fastest ways to make people bottle their feelings until they explode at the least convenient moment. Like crying at a grocery store over the price of grapes. The truth is, real emotional health includes all the vibes, sad ones, weird ones, ones that want to listen to angry breakup songs while eating noodles straight from the pot. A space that only allows positive feelings isn't healthy. It's a cult with fairy lights. And here's the science why suppressing emotions can actually amplify them. Your brain's like, oh, we're not allowed to feel this. Cool. Number 10. Everything happens for a reason. This is the philosophical equivalent of shrugging while Rome burns. Did you lose your job, get dumped, and drop your coffee on the same day? Don't worry. The universe is just writing a mysterious novella for your character development. Look, Finding meaning in hard things is powerful. It's how people build resilience and avoid falling into full nihilism. But that's very different from telling someone that their pain was predestined by the cosmic HR department. Saying, everything happens for a reason, too early or too often, can invalidate real suffering. It rushes people past their pain and straight into the metaphysical spin cycle. Suddenly your trauma isn't allowed to be just painful, it has to be poetic. This advice also puts pressure on you to figure out the reason, as if grief is a puzzle you're too emotionally incompetent to solve. Oh, you're sad. Well, clearly the universe is teaching you a lesson. Hurry up and learn it already. Reality check. Sometimes bad things happen for dumb reasons, or no reason at all, and you're allowed to just hurt. Number 11. Always be grateful. Gratitude is beautiful. It rewires your brain, helps fight depression, and prevents you from turning into a bitter goblin who snarls at birthday cards. But, and this is a big but, gratitude doesn't cancel out pain. Telling yourself to be grateful when you're struggling can morph into emotional gaslighting. Like, sure, I'm having a breakdown, but at least I have Wi-Fi and a spleen, right? This creates a mental tug of war, where your brain is trying to process real pain, but your inner motivational speaker keeps interrupting. Wait, before you feel sad, did you thank your houseplants today? Gratitude shouldn't be used like Windex on emotional mess. It's not supposed to clean away your sadness, it's supposed to sit beside it. Like, yeah, this sucks, but also, I still love mangoes and dogs and that one hoodie that smells like peace. Studies show that authentic gratitude, the kind that emerges naturally, helps long-term well-being. But forced gratitude, it can actually increase guilt and emotional avoidance. So don't feel guilty if your gratitude journal occasionally turns into a rant diary. Number 12. Mind over matter. Ah yes, the gym bro's favorite philosophy and the intro to every bad advice poster. The idea that your mind is this invincible force that can overcome literally anything. Pain, fear, exhaustion, heartbreak, hangovers, debt, climate change, you name it. But unless your mind is secretly running on cheat codes, there are limits. Your brain is powerful, but it's not magic. You can't mindset your way out of a nervous breakdown. You can't positive think your way through chronic illness or trauma. This advice turns mental health into a willpower contest. And if you're struggling, clearly you're just not trying hard enough. If you can't force your brain into peace and productivity, you're weak. Except no, science says otherwise. Mental health isn't a gladiator sport. It's a messy symphony of biology, environment, and emotional spaghetti. And pretending you're above the laws of neurology only makes you more ashamed when you inevitably hit a wall. Yes, your thoughts influence your reality, but so do hormones, stress chemicals, and the fact that you haven't eaten.
Number 13. Helping others will make you feel better. This one seems wholesome, and sometimes it's true. Helping others can give you perspective, reduce self-focus, and release a little dopamine boost that says, look at you being a useful human. But when your mental health is crumbling, and someone says, you should go volunteer, that'll fix you, it can feel a little like telling a drowning person to go save someone else as a coping strategy. Helping others while ignoring your own burnout creates something called empathy fatigue. It's when your compassion tank is empty, but you keep trying to give. Eventually, you either implode, or start resenting the very people you wanted to help. Also, some folks use being needed as a way to avoid their own feelings. If your entire identity is built around fixing other people, your emotions become background noise in someone else's drama. Helping others is a beautiful part of healing, but it's not a substitute for your healing. If you're giving from an empty cup, all you're handing out is steam. Number 14. Happiness is a choice. This one deserves a slow, sarcastic clap. Yes, sometimes you can choose to focus on good things, but saying, happiness is a choice, like it's a universal law, ignores literally everything science knows about mental health. Your happiness isn't just a mood you pick off a shelf. It's tied to brain chemistry, trauma history, environment, access to support, and about 47 other things that aren't solved by a morning affirmation and a green smoothie. When people say, happiness is a choice, they often mean, stop being so difficult. It's dismissive. It turns complex emotions into a moral failure. Feeling sad? That's your fault. Feeling anxious? Stop choosing that. Now you're not just suffering, you're failing at joy. But emotions don't work like a light switch. They're more like weather systems, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, sometimes weirdly foggy for no reason. You can influence the climate, sure, but you don't control it completely. So no, happiness isn't always a choice, but how you respond to your feelings. That's where your power lies.